What's going on, everybody? Got Crazy Dog here, and I'm back for another video. This one will be my mock draft, and probably the only one I'm going to do. So, here we go. With the first pick, the Tennessee Titans select Laremy Tunsil. And I say that, a lot of people are saying Jalen Ramsey because, they need to protect that, they need to bolster that defense. But they fail to realize that Marcus Mariota has little to no protection. I think in the game against my Browns last year, he had like 6 sacks, 5 sacks. I mean, that was insane. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but he has to run for his life to do anything, and you don't like a quarterback when he does that. Because usually when they have to run for their life, they're going to make mistakes or they're going to get hurt. I know Tennessee doesn't want that. Now, there's even a rumor that Tennessee might trade the pick, which we'll have to wait and see about that one. All right, now number 2, the Cleveland Browns, my Cleveland Browns, select Jalen Ramsey. Now, a lot of people say, well, what about Goff or Wentz? No, those two are also considerations because we need Because RG3 is not going to be our answer for 3, 4, 5 years. Unless he just balls out and does good things, and you never know. But it's always good to have that quarterback you can just mold. But that class is just, I don't know. But for the Browns, their defense should be number 1 priority. Because that defense was atrocious last year. But a lot of people will say it's because of the coaching. And Jim O'Neill was not that good of a coordinator. No. So we'll see. Not to mention we have Ray Horton back this year, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, Jalen Ramsey, put him across from Joe Hayden, and you'll have a kick-ass secondary. Oh, cornerbacks anyways, because then you'll have Whitner and possibly Raheem Moore in the safety position. So we'll see where that goes. At 3rd, the Chargers select DeForest Buckner out of Oregon. And I'm going to say that because they need a defensive end. They needed one badly. And DeForest is probably one of the best defensive ends in this game, like in this draft. Next to Joey Bosa. But I'm going to say they're going to go Buckner because he's just a force to be reckoned with. Didn't really see much of Oregon, though, so we'll have to wait and see. At 4, the Cowboys select Joey Bosa. And I say that because they need defensive help. After some dude named Greg Hardy, with all that crap that's been going on with him, they need someone who can just come after the quarterback. Because their defense is up there. They got some good players on that defense, but their defensive line is of course, it doesn't really help when your offense is stagnant towards the end of the year after Tony Romo gets just put on the shelf for so long like that. So yeah, Joey Bosa to the Cowboys. At 5, I'm gonna say Myles Jack to Jacksonville. Not just because they need a linebacker, but because of his name. Imagine this. Jacksonville? Myles Jack? Oh, God. Here come the Myles Jacksonville jokes. Really? There's going to be those people that make that kind of joke. People. You guys are funny. All right. At 6, the Baltimore Ravens select Ronnie Stanley. And I'm going to say Ronnie Stanley because Joe Flacco got demolished last year at times, and he needs protection, especially with the loss of Kelechi Osemele. So you get Ronnie Stanley, you fit him where Kelechi was, and boom, your offensive line's pretty much back to the way it was before you lost him. So we will see how that one goes. At 7, the San Francisco 49ers select Carson Wentz. And I'm going to say that because, Colin Kaepernick will probably be your starting quarterback unless Blaine Gabbert wins the job. If he's even on the team. I have not heard anything about Blaine Gabbert. It's been all Kaepernick. But I think they need a rookie quarterback. I mean, Chip Kelly. I mean, we'll see how they do there. But I'm going to say Wentz because he pretty much, I mean, he'd probably be that kind of quarterback that San Francisco needs. Now at number 8, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jared Goff. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Sorry about that. Man, but when your team literally has Sam Bradford and Chase Daniel, I mean, yeah, Jared Goff would be a very good quarterback for that system. I mean, yeah, granted, Doug Peterson was a horrible quarterback in his career, and he's not a proven coach. But we'll see. I mean, you got to give him time. I mean, Goff, I think, would probably be one of the best choices there. I mean, yeah, some people would argue that like a Jack Conklin would be good because they need O-line help, or a Zeke because, well, they don't have a running game. But Jared Goff, I think, would probably be the best fit because he'd probably beat out Chase Daniel. And who knows, he might be your next stud quarterback that you guys have been wanting. At number 9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Vernon Hargreaves, the third out of Florida corner. And I think that would be a very good pick. As you can see, I'm wearing a Florida alumni Joe Hayden jersey, because I want to. Don't judge. But I think the Buccaneers need secondary help, like now, because their secondary is next to atrocious. I mean, you get absolutely pummeled by Tennessee. That's pretty sad. I mean, they need all the help they can get in that secondary. Now, at number 10, the New York Giants draft Laquan Treadwell out of Mississippi. And here's why. Well, you got almost said ODB again. Dang it. I've tried this video about 5 times, and I keep wanting to say ODB, Odell Beckham, but OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. God. I think that would be a good pick, Laquan to New York, because as of right now, all you got is Odell, and all these secondaries, all the cornerbacks and safeties, they're going to be focusing on him. Whereas if you get a deep threat like a Laquan Treadwell, you're going to be good because they're going to have to focus on Laquan and Odell Beckham. So it's going to be like a pick your poison like thing going on there. Who do you guard? Because you're running the risk of getting burnt no matter what. Now at number 11, the Bears select Ezekiel Elliott. And I'm going to say Zeke because they need a running back after losing Forte. And their running game was going to probably be trash, but without him. But hey, if they get Zeke, they have a chance of being a really good running team, I think. I mean, you never know, honestly, but wish all the best for Zeke. I mean, he did big things over here in Ohio for Ohio State. At number 12, the New Orleans Saints select Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle out of Louisville. And I'm going to say that because if you watched, I can't remember which game it was. It might have been the Falcons or Giants game. I don't know. But they were in a dogfight. They scored 50 points, and then the opponent scored 50 points. Now, I cannot remember which game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but God. If your defense allows 50-plus points, it might have been against the Falcons, I think. Really? 50 points? Your defense allowed 50 points? You're lucky your offense kept up with them. Otherwise, that would have been a blowout. That defense needs some work. Like, now. God. So, I think Sheldon Rankins would really fit the bill there and maybe help that pass rush. Now at 13, the Miami Dolphins select Shaq Lawson, out of Clemson. He is the defensive end. And I'm going to say Shaq because, I mean, hey, why not? You know, I mean, you lost Olivier Vernon. You got Ndamukong Suh. So, might as well add Shaq Lawson to that. So, he'd probably be able to fit in where Olivier was. So, we will have to wait and see on that one. But I think Shaq would fit really well over there in Miami. At number 14, the Raiders select Eli Apple, cornerback out of Ohio State. And I'm going to say Eli Apple because, well, they need cornerback help. And Eli, while he does have his faults, is a pretty damn good corner. He's a very good, very physical cover corner. Although he is a little tiny. But, I mean, hey, so is half the cornerbacks in the league. But who cares? I mean, as long as you can keep up with the receiver, get your hand in between their hands, and then maybe, you know, get a pick or two, you're good. And I think Eli would really work down there in the Raider Nation, the black hole. All right. So at 15, the Los Angeles Rams select Corey Coleman out of Baylor. And I'm going to say Corey Coleman because, well, you got Tavon Austin, and you need another receiver threat. And Corey Coleman fits that bill to a T. He is one of the biggest threats I think I've ever watched. I've watched highlights of him, and he is a beast. So if the Rams get him, oh, God. They're going to have a field day with him. I mean, I know Jeff Fisher's gone like 8-8, like almost every year he's been a coach. This may be one of those years where he doesn't go 8-8. I say, I don't know. Gotta wait on the schedule, though, but they're looking pretty good for the LA Rams. That offense is already electrified with Todd Gurley. Get Corey Coleman, and it will go sky high. So watch out, everybody. LA's coming. At number 16, the Detroit Lions select Kevin Dodd, defensive end out of Clemson. I'm going to say Dodd because, they need defensive line help. They haven't had a legit defensive line, really, since Ndamukong Suh left. So, I think Dodd would really be able to, fortify that line a little bit more. I think it'd be a good pick, Kevin Dodd to the Lions. Yeah, that'd be a perfect pick for them. At 17, the Atlanta Falcons select Reggie Ragland out of Alabama, inside linebacker. And I say that, I think Reggie would fit down there in Atlanta because they need defensive help. They don't have that good of linebacking core. Granted, some people would say Darren Lee. They both would work, but Reggie would probably fit the best. Although Darren Lee's a close second. He's right up there, though. I mean, with both of them, you got to watch out because those two can get after the quarterback. They can stop the run. They can do all that good stuff. At number 18, the Colts desperately need this. They select Taylor Decker out of Ohio State, offensive tackle. And I say that because, well, the Colts have not had pass protection in ages. Andrew Luck is running for his life. He got hurt so many times last year, and it's insane. So, we'll see where that one goes. I think Decker would fit the bill perfectly in Indianapolis. Everyone would love that pick. That may be one of the first good picks since Andrew Luck for the Colts. So we'll see where that one goes. At number 19, the Buffalo Bills select Darren Lee out of Ohio State. I'm going to start speeding this up because I'm at 14 minutes already. So the Bills select Darren Lee because, well, he's a beast and they need defensive help, much like a lot of these teams. And I think, they would get they would get a pretty dang good linebacker. All right, so number 20, the New York Jets, Jets, Jets. Well, they draft Leonard Floyd, offensive linebacker out of Georgia. Now, they did lose Demario Davis to my Browns, so Leonard would be able to fill that spot because their linebackers were not that good, and now they're worse. But we'll see where the Jets go with that one. It'd be fun to see. At number 21, the Redskins out of Washington, draft Andrew Billings, nose tackle out of Baylor. So, I think Andrew Billings, I haven't seen much of him on tape, but I think he would fit pretty well down there in Washington because they need defensive line help. A lot of these teams do. And he would probably be their best bet for a pretty nasty defensive line, especially in the NFC East. Ugh. That division is trash. Alright. At number 22, the Houston Texans select, I want to say Will Fuller. I say Will Fuller because they need a deep threat because, of course, DeAndre Hopkins is already there. But he's literally all they got. And secondaries around the NFL, they just got to focus on him and shut him down. Whereas if you get a guy like Will Fuller, you would have to watch him because he's another deep threat, much like Laquan Treadwell. He's a deadly deep threat that can get down the field, create plays, and, well, kind of take the pressure off of Hopkins. So that would work pretty dang good for the Texans. All right, at number 23, the Minnesota Vikings select Josh Doctson. Almost sounds like the dog breed, Doctson, out of TCU. Now, here's another instance where they need a wide receiver, and I think he would help them so much. Because right now, the only big threat they have is Adrian Peterson, and he's getting up there in age, so I think Josh would really give them another receiving threat for Teddy Bridgewater. I'm just having some fun. Alright, so number 24, the Cincinnati Bengals select A'Shawn Robinson out of Alabama. And I say that because their defensive line is still pretty nasty, but they just need a few more pieces, mainly for depth. And A'Shawn Robinson would give them that depth that they need. At 25, these Pittsburgh Steelers select Mackenzie Alexander out of Clemson. And he would fit in Pittsburgh because, I mean, hey, why not, you know? Usually they take Ohio State players, but by this time I think most of them will be gone. I think Mackenzie Alexander would fit pretty good, as I think they just lost Brandon Boykin not too long ago, and he would probably go in where Boykin was. So, he'd be some... They would have a no-fly zone down there in Pittsburgh, so watch out. They go Mackenzie Alexander. He's a beast, I've heard. All right, at 26, the Seattle Seahawks select Noah Spence out of Eastern Kentucky. Now, when he was at Ohio State, I watched him, and he was a dominating force. Then he got caught with, I think, drugs or something like that, and he transferred to Eastern Kentucky, and he was still a beast. And he was even more of a dominating force. And I think he would fit pretty well down there in Seattle. That defense is nasty already. But I think Noah Spence would just make it much more nasty. At 27, the Green Bay Packers select Hunter Henry out of Arkansas, tight end. I haven't really heard them. I mean, I've actually heard they got Jared Cook out of Green Bay. So I think that would be another good option for them. Put him with Jared Cook, and boom, there you go. Got your two really good tight ends. At 28, the Kansas City Chiefs select William Jackson III out of Houston. Of course, here you go. Put him right next to Tamba Hali and Marcus Peters. And because of course, heck, they lost Sean Smith, so put William Jackson where Sean was, and your secondary is almost as good as it was last year. Still going to be some nasty stuff going on down there in KC, though. That AFC West is going to be something to watch next year. At 29, the Arizona Cardinals select Robert Nkemdiche. And yes, Robert Nkemdiche was one of the top 5 picks, earlier when the mock drafts are first coming out. But since he got, caught with drugs, I think it was drugs or marijuana or something like that, or some police thing, got in trouble with the law in some way, and his draft stock dropped like a rock. I just rhymed there. I think Arizona would be very smart to take Robert Nkemdiche because the dude is a monster, and he would solidify that D-line because they need that D-line to perform well to stay in these games. That offense is pretty good. That defense, it's nasty. That secondary is good, but you can't put all your pressure on that secondary. You got to get after the quarterback because with receivers these days, man, your secondary, if you don't have a D-line and you can't get to the quarterback, that quarterback is going to pick your secondary apart with quarterbacks these days. I think Robert Nkemdiche would be a smart pick there. At 30, the Carolina Panthers select Germain Ifedi out of Texas A&M. He's a guard. And I think that would be a very smart pick for them because they want Cam Newton to stay healthy, keep him on his feet. And I think Ifedi would be a very, very good pick because he would help that offensive line. So we'll see where the Carolina Panthers go with that one. And with the 31st pick, the Denver Broncos select Paxton Lynch. And this is an easy one because, well, they need a quarterback. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but they need a quarterback. They went from having 2 really amazing quarterbacks to having 1 scrubby trash quarterback. So, of course, they lost Manning to retirement. Osweiler fled to Houston. And they brought in Mark Sanchez, who I doubt will be their starting quarterback. If he is, they are in trouble. They are in a load of shit with that one. Because Sanchez, he sucks. And, of course, the New England Patriots forfeited their pick because of Deflategate. So, because there's only 31 teams, and I don't like having things being odd, and I did 32 teams with the last one, with the first pick in the second round, the 32nd overall, the Browns select Michael Thomas out of Ohio State. And I'm saying that because, well, you got Josh Gordon, and you're probably going to have RG3 starting. And I think, getting a threat like Michael Thomas to go on the other side, sure, you still have Brian Hartline, but, you can always have 3 tall receivers. It won't hurt. But another deep threat like Michael Thomas would really help out RG3. Because having these Smurf-like receivers, Benjamin was good, but he's tiny. Tiny receivers are for the slot position. You need tall receivers to go up, get the ball, challenge these corners, and make plays. And you can't do that with tiny receivers. So I think Michael Thomas would fit perfectly, especially with Hugh Jackson. And then you get all this stuff, with Chad Johnson coming over to work with the receivers, which I don't think that's going to happen. That'd be funny, though. But yeah, Michael Thomas to the Browns, first pick in the second round. just because I wanted to make it like 32 instead of ending on 31, because the Patriots are cheaters. So that's it for my mock draft. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and comment down below who you think your team will pick in the mock draft and why. And well, we're officially 1 month from draft night. Right now it'd be day 2, that's gonna be fun, I think. So see you all later. This video went a good 25 minutes. Holy crap. So yeah, I'm gonna get going now. Got things to do, and I'm out.